House on Black Hollow Road. You don't hear about Black Hollow Road unless you're from that part of southern West Virginia, and even then, folks speak of it like a half-remembered nightmare. When I was a kid, my uncle told me about the house at the end of that road, the one no one dared go near after sunset. Of course, I thought he was full of it. Now, I'm not so sure. It was my friend Josh who brought it up again, years later, while we were back in our hometown for Thanksgiving break. He was always the reckless one, the kind of guy who laughed through horror movies and scoffed at haunted house stories. We were all sitting around a fire behind his parents' place, drinking beer and catching up, when he said, "Let's go to the Black Hollow house." We all laughed it off at first. Even Sarah, who hated scary stuff, said, "No way, that place is supposed to be cursed." But Josh insisted. He'd found a way in, said the property had recently gone up for tax auction, but no one bought it. The house had been boarded up since the 90s, and the cops didn't even patrol out that way anymore. "There's nothing in there but dust and squirrels," he said, grinning, "unless you're all too chicken." That was how it started. 4 of us, me, Josh, Sarah, and my cousin Nate, piled into Josh's old Jeep the next night, headlights slicing through the thick country dark, toward the end of a forgotten road no GPS even recognized. The driveway was overgrown, barely a trail anymore. Trees arched overhead, making it feel like we were descending into a tunnel. Then, suddenly, there it was. The house. It was huge, Victorian style, with a steep sagging roof and tall, narrow windows, most of them shattered or boarded up. Ivy had climbed halfway up the brick chimney, and the porch looked like it might collapse under its own weight. It looked like it had been waiting. I felt something then, a shift in the air, like the forest was holding its breath. Josh got out first, flashlight in hand. "Let's do this." The front door groaned open with a dry, reluctant creak. Inside, the air was thick with dust and rot. Wallpaper peeled in long strips, revealing cracked plaster beneath. The floorboards groaned with every step, and something skittered across the ceiling above us. "Living room's through here," Josh said, shining the light toward a wide archway. Old furniture lay draped in yellowed sheets, and a broken grandfather clock leaned in the corner. Everything was coated in a fine layer of grime, but it didn't look looted, more like it had been frozen in time. "I thought this place burned down," Nate whispered. "No," I said, remembering my uncle's story. "They found bodies here." "Whose bodies?" Sarah asked, but I didn't answer, because something was watching us. I could feel it. We explored the ground floor first. Kitchen, dining room, a study with books swollen from damp. There were strange things scattered around, a child's shoe in the middle of the hallway, a knife embedded in the back of a wooden chair, a porcelain doll lying face down in the bathroom sink. We should have left then, but Josh wanted to see the basement. "It's where the family died," he said, voice low. "Or at least where they found the remains. My brother said they were mangled, like animals had gotten to them." "No," Sarah said, backing away. "I'm not going down there." Josh scoffed. "Then we'll go up instead." The stairs to the second floor were narrow and crooked. As we climbed, the light from Josh's flashlight flickered, just once. I thought it was the batteries. It wasn't. Upstairs was darker, colder. The hallway ran the length of the house, lined with closed doors on either side. I reached for one at random and opened it. It was a nursery. Cobwebs hung from the mobile above a decaying crib. Something scuttled under the rug when I stepped in. The air smelled like mildew and something else, something sweet and rotten. In the corner of the room, a music box started playing. None of us had touched it. Sarah screamed, and I spun to see her staring into the hallway, pale as a sheet. "I saw something," she said, "in the mirror." We all looked. A tall mirror hung on the wall beside her, the glass fogged and smeared with age. But when I stepped in front of it, for a second, I swear I saw someone behind me. Not one of us. A woman, tall, pale, with black hair hanging like wet ropes across her face. Then it was gone. Josh laughed, a little too loud. Old glass does that, warps reflections. But he looked shaken too. That's when we heard the whispering. It started soft, like wind through dry leaves, but there was no wind, and we were all standing still. It was a voice, or several, calling, crying, chanting. I couldn't make out the words, but they filled my head like smoke. Josh backed away from the hallway, flashlight darting wildly. "We're done, let's go." But we didn't go, because the whispering was coming from downstairs. Something was moving below us, creaking floorboards. The sound of something dragging across the wood, and then, thump, something hit the bottom of the stairs. We ran, or tried to, but the house didn't want us to leave. As we barreled down the stairs, the front door slammed shut with a deafening crash. The temperature dropped so fast the air fogged with our breath. The lights on our phones blinked out. Josh's flashlight flickered, then died. In the darkness, we heard it again. A voice, but this time clear. A woman's voice, low and ragged. "You shouldn't be here." Something brushed against my arm, cold, wet, grasping. Sarah screamed again, but it cut off, like something had yanked the sound right out of her mouth. I turned toward her and saw nothing. She was gone. We scrambled back into the living room, calling her name. Nothing. No answer. Just silence. And then the creaking began again, from the basement door. Nate turned the knob and opened it, the smell of mold and decay wafting up like a wave. I told him not to. I begged him. But he stepped down into the darkness anyway. Josh followed him. I was left alone. For a moment, I considered running, smashing out a window, bolting into the woods, not stopping until I hit the road. But I couldn't leave them, so I went after them. The basement stairs were steep and uneven. I could barely see. At the bottom, my foot landed in something soft. I didn't want to know what it was. Then I heard it. A slurping sound, like something feeding. My eyes adjusted just enough to see the shape in the corner. It was hunched, tall, moving in jerks. Something hung from its hands, something limp and pale. Sarah. It dropped her and turned toward me. The face was wrong, like a mask made of melted wax. Its eyes were too many, its mouth too wide, and it smiled. I ran. Blinded by terror, I tore up the stairs, screaming Josh and Nate's names. I found Nate first, lying on the floor at the base of the stairs, his eyes wide open but not seeing. His mouth was full of dirt, like someone had tried to bury him alive. Josh was nowhere. The front door was open now. I didn't question it. I ran through it, down the overgrown path, into the freezing woods. Branches clawed at me, the wind howled like a scream. I didn't stop until I collapsed on the road, gasping, crying, alive. They found me the next morning. I told the police everything, about the house, about the thing in the basement, about my friends. They said the house was empty. No sign of Sarah, or Josh, or Nate. No bodies, no blood, nothing. Just dust. But I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I spent months in therapy, moved away, started over. But sometimes, at night, I still hear the whispers. And I know, deep down, the house on Black Hollow Road is still there. Still watching. Still waiting.